Alright, so here we have a problem that asks you about two linear functions and essentially when they'll meet. So let's read the question. We'll talk about a little bit of the background and then how you can quickly solve this type of problem. So they tell us here that Club A charges a yearly fee of $75, right, and an additional $10 per month. So that's Club A, and as you go through this, I suggest writing it down. I like to do that. It helps me keep track of the problem itself. So it's 75 plus 10 per month. And that's our equation. Now I just think of it as 75 is the yearly fee, and we could model it based on years, but I find that's not necessary here because the question is going to ask us how many months after how many months will the cost be the same. So unless we need to go over a period of 1 year, we can just treat that yearly fee as a constant. So, right, and plus if they're giving you a yearly fee, they're probably going to ask you to start over again next year. So you want a function that models the cost over 1 year, which is $75 to start, and then you add $10 for each month. And that phrase, $10 for each month, is 10 times m. And now Club B, right, what does that do? Well, Club B has a yearly fee of $50 plus 15 for each month. Okay, after how many months is the cost the same? Well, these are both linear functions, and I can tell that because the rate of change is constant. It's $15 per month. That's our rate of change in Club B, and Club A is $10 per month, and that's always going to be that, so it's a constant rate of change, and then that'll form a line. So if we graph this out, right, here's a rough graph, line and line. So let's plot out Club A. So we get 50 plus 15 per month. So let's say 50 is right here, right? And this is Club A. And all I did is estimate this height here is 50. So even before you start at 0, this will be our months down here. And that will tell us how much we're paying over time. At 0 months, you're still paying $50. At 1 month, right, you add 15, so you're paying about 65, right? But let's make this about 1 month. So 60 will be about here. So you can see about here we're at 65, let's say, and then 2 months, if we extend the line a little bit, you're not going to be at 65 anymore, you're going to be at, right, 80. So 70, 80. So out here. Okay. So this is Club A. The idea is that with Club B, the initial fee is higher, but the rate per month is less. So I think intuitively they want you to realize that if we start at about 75, right, but have a lower rate of change, so after 1 month we'll be at 85 and so forth, and then after 2 months we'll be at 95, right, which is pretty close to the 80 but still far ahead. Is when are these two lines going to meet? That's the idea of the problem, and they're not. You could graph this out, and it wouldn't be too difficult. You see they're going to meet pretty soon, but we want to use algebra to solve this. So here we're assuming at some point these two things are equal. So one way to solve this is to say, well, let's set them equal to each other. 75 plus 10m. At some point we're saying it's going to equal 50 plus 15m. So if we solve this, we'll find when they are actually equal to each other. That's one way to solve it. Excuse me. I'll share a second way to solve it after that. Okay, so here what I would do is subtract 50 from both sides, and then subtract 10m from both sides, doing both steps at once. And what's going to happen here now is the 10m's will cancel out, 50's cancel out. We get 25 equals 5m. To solve for m, I divide both sides by 5, and m equals 5. This means after 5 months, these two clubs, right, will cost the same amount. And you can plug it in. If we plug 5 into Club A, we get 75 plus 50, right? So Club A would equal what? Well, what's 75 plus 50? That's 125, right? And then 50 plus 15 times 5, that's 50 plus 75 is still 125. So after 5 months, they both cost $125. Now the other way to solve it, aside from graphing and solving it this way, is to somehow try and add the two equations to isolate a variable. The thing about this is that it might be a little confusing here. because you have to set club A and B equal to each other. But here, let me show you what I mean. So it's usually not preferable to do this when you have it set up in this way. It's so easy to solve for the one variable. But let's say club A is equal to cost y. So club A is going to be equal y equal to, what was it again? 75 plus 10 per month. And club B will also say equals y, because at some point they're equal to each other, equals 50 plus 15 per month. So this, again, this is not preferable in this case. However, it does work. So we can subtract one from the other. And you can subtract or add equations just like we do with any other number. So here what's going to happen is you're going to subtract like terms. So y minus y is 0. 75 minus 50 is 25. And 10 minus 15 is negative 5. Right, or negative 5m. Now we have a true statement. 25 minus 5m is 0, and that makes sense. We already know what m equals, right? We just showed that m equals 5, and therefore this does make sense. 25 minus 5 times 5 would be 0. But to solve this, I would add 5m back over here. And you could subtract 25 from both sides, but I want to add the 5m to get rid of that negative. So now we have 5m equals 25. And if we wanted to, we can keep going, but you might be able to see the answer. So 5m equals 25. Divide both sides by 5, and m equals 5 again. So let's just backtrack. You could solve an equation like this by guessing and checking in a table, plugging in a certain number of months and seeing when they're equal. But you can add or subtract both equations like this, and you could graph it, and you can set them equal to each other to find when the amount of months would be. So here I would say 5 is the answer. Thanks.